Next one, Sympathetic Villain.
I am sick and tired of sympathetic villains.
Let's go. Let's go. So am I. Give me some pure evil.
I love a good pure evil villain.
Yes. Welcome back to Ramble episode 64. I'm Austin.
And this is Richard.
And we lied to you. The title of this video, Rich, you know what it says? It says 50 fantasy sci-fi tropes that we're going to rank in tier lists, as you can see here. But guess what?
50 is a good number.
No, it's not. I'll do you one better.
51?
I'll do you two better.
52?
I'll do you three better.
54?
I'll do you four. No, it's actually...
Okay.
Wait, you said... I had my own punchline set up, and you subterfuged my punchline and made it better.
Yes.
Oh, damn it. But we have 53 tropes from fantasy and sci-fi. We're going to tier list these. I made this whole sheet. I'll actually have it up if you guys want to use the same sheet we're going to use. Rich, you haven't seen what I'm going to present. Mm-hmm. But I basically have every trope known to mankind.
Every trope. You can't have every trope.
Well, in fantasy and sci-fi.
You can have every trope. There's not that many tropes in fantasy.
Well,
to be fair, of the things I've read, yeah, like fantasy doesn't go outside the box that often.
There's
it does,
53, exactly.
Yeah, exactly 53 tropes.
I'm curious, after we do this whole thing, I want to see if you could think of any I missed.
Okay, I'll try. I'll do my best.
This is going to be a long video, strap in. It's going to be fun. We're just going to talk tropes, throw them up there. If you guys agree or disagree with us, plop them in the comments. But if you disagree, say it with your heart. Like, come on, don't be scared. Say something like, be mean to Rich.
I enjoy some good mean comments. I get a little bit of pleasure at it because if it's completely out of left field and doesn't make sense, it makes me laugh. If it actually hits close to home, ooh, that's the sweeter still, because then it makes me grow.
I won't say what comment it was, and I promise we will get into the tier listing of the tropes. We will. There was a comment. I won't say by who it was or what it was, but Rich read it and came to me the other day. It was like, that guy's kind of right. Should we change things up a little bit? And I was like, yeah, but we have to. It's huge. But anyways, so the comments, they do affect us.
Occasionally.
And it makes us stronger when they're meaner.
That is true.
We become better. And you know what? So let us know if you agree or disagree with these. You want to get off with the first on this? We have 53 to get through.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. So the first trope, the Empire is falling. And as you can see on our tier list here, we have S, A, B, C, D, F ranked. S tier is the best, F's the worst. Then we have an even worse ranking right there, Rings of Power. So that's the worst of the worst.
Nice. And I'm going to save that tier for what truly deserves it.
Empire's Falling does not deserve that.
No, it's a good one. And
how good
it's
do you
very
think?
Common one, actually. In many ways, it's so overplayed, I'm almost looking for a story that's like, the Empire's not falling. Like, it's always like, I think it was some post I saw online of like, comparing it to dragons. There's always either dragons are disappearing and there's not many dragons anymore, or there's way too many dragons. It's kind of like with the Empire thing. Like, the Empire is either the rise of the Empire or the fall of the Empire.
There's never an Empire that's just chill.
I want just like real established Empire, just right there, like in the height of its power. That's what I want. Just want to see it once or twice.
So where are you feeling on this list then? How good or how bad is this trope? Because by the way it sounds, I think you're going to throw it in B.
C.
C.
Because it's not inherent. It doesn't inherently make a story better. It's not a trope that I'm looking at that I'm going, oh yeah, that trope improves the story. No, it doesn't improve. It doesn't make it worse. It's a neutral trope.
Does it make you excited to see what's going to happen to the Empire if there's a new one that's going to replace it? I think. No, not listen, really. I'm going to throw this out here. I think it deserves like a bottom tier B.
Bottom tier.
There's some bad tropes. I think because if we're going S, A, B, C, D, F. You're saying it's slightly below average? I think Empire's Falling
average.
Can get
C, isn't it? C is right average.
Well, we've got 6 tier. Oh, you're right. Rings of Power tier. I forgot about the Rings of Power tier. Okay.
There's also Rings of Power tier. I can be convinced of a low B.
I'll acquiesce to C, but we can move this later.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Just remember, I gave you this show of friendship here, okay? Because this next one, enemies to lover, I'm gonna say this first. I love it. I don't care. I know people hate enemies to lovers. I love enemies to lovers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard this before. Of the reason why people like the enemies to lovers trope is if you're looking at it from especially from the woman's perspective of your female main character has a male enemy, or it specifically in this kind of relationship. Like, I'm sure it works for a gay relationship, but anyway, for a straight heterosexual relationship, if the person's an enemy, if the man's an enemy respects you. Like, a good enemy actually respects you. Like, if a friend or someone, like, not necessarily respects you, like, likes you, but can look down on you. But an enemy by necessity has to respect you. And so that's why some people like it.
Yeah, and I also like it because it shows you overcoming it. It actually leads to something. You overcome a difference. You go through some sort of trauma that brings you guys together. Something like that. Whereas friends to lovers, it's like, oh, you've been friends for 20. That's just normal. That just happens. And it's every guy out there is trying to, that's friend zone, tries to get that friends to lovers thing going on. But enemies to lovers, just more real. You hate each other and something happens. When I say enemies to lovers to you, it's like, why are they? What happened to get them from that to that?
I mean, yeah. I'm always looking for a relationship with a guy who killed my mom. You know what I mean?
Just for that, I think this should be A tier at least. Come on.
No, I mean, what's a good example that you have? Give me one good example, and I'll give you B.
My future book.
Ugh. Better.
I knew that would be the worst one ever.
Yes.
Basically, every YA YA book I grew up on, it's where you always have the edgy. Listen, this is my inner YA coming out.
Fine. I disagree with you on it because it normally is just not that fun.
Where would you put it? Let's put it in the middle.
D. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay, let's put it top of C if you want it that low.
Fine.
Top of C, and maybe we can go back to that one. You hate it that much.
I just dislike it.
What?
I'm just not the biggest fan.
Okay.
It's not my favorite trope.
We'll agree on this next one, though. Doesn't kill bad guys.
F. Not Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Does it?
Rings of Power. You know why I'm saying Rings of Power?
Why?
It can be done. It's one of my least favorite tropes.
It's done well. I can only think of one case I've ever seen it done well. And that's Daredevil Season 3.
I haven't seen that.
Daredevil Season 3 is a perfect season of television. Like, perfect season of television. And it handles that exact trope marvelously. Better than Batman, better than any other version I've seen of this whole trope.
This trope,
that's the only time it's done well.
The reason this is so bad is this can ruin a story. It can, if this is done poorly, it destroys the story for me. And this has happened in movies and books I've read where it gets so infuriating. This whole trope of most of the time you kill all these henchmen who don't really matter, and then it comes to the big bad villain, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can't kill. So that's when it's done really bad. There's also your Batman. There's also your other cases where it can work. So, okay, fine, it can go F.
We're saving Rings of Power.
I've acquiesced 3 times. I'm expecting favors.
Hey.
So we're okay with F?
Yeah, we're okay with F.
All right. This next one, Mary Sue, Gary Stu.
I think it has to be for Rings of Power, just on the nature of what Rings of Power was. Like, it inherently ruins the whole thing.
A Mary Sue, Gary Stu?
Yeah.
Is there any argument to say if it's a meta joke on the Mary Sue, Gary Stu, where you could say it's a purposefully altered, like a One Punch Man is a Gary Stu in a sense of he's good at everything, but his one flaw you would say as a character is he's depressed to the point of, what is it? It's by the way,
he's
One
nihilistic.
Punch Man. Yeah.
Well,
One Punch Man's a great show.
So the inherent nature of a Gary Stu, Mary Stu type thing is it's supposed to be a self-insert fan fiction where they have no external or internal flaws and they outshine every other character in a scene they're in.
Does this mean no external or internal flaws?
basically.
Okay, I didn't know it meant zero. So it means zero flaws.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the whole phrase comes from a Star Trek fanfic where the main character is Mary Sue. Like literally her name. She was a probably some young girl wrote a fanfiction of Star Trek. And basically, every single character on the Enterprise is in love with her. She's just so smart and talented. All the crew look up to her. They're all in love with her. She solves the problems super easily, all that stuff. And so it's just some fanfic.
Just has no conflict.
No conflict because she's perfect and everyone loves her.
Okay.
That's what the original Mary Sue character.
Got it. So I'm obviously thinking F for Rings of Power here. I didn't know that. So the way I thought Mary Sue Gary Stu was you're good at everything, having no and basically flaws with your capabilities. I didn't know that it extended to having no external flaws.
No, because there's plenty of characters like Anakin Skywalker, who is the most powerful Jedi, of the whole prequels. On purely power base, like he is the most powerful. He doesn't have to work really hard for his abilities. Like he's just naturally very gifted.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a Gary Stu because he has internal problems with his rage and his unable to process grief. So that's his problem that he has.
Okay, got it. So yeah,
and characters dislike him. Things don't always go his way.
Got it.
Difference with Rey Skywalker. Oh, God, it sounded bad in my mouth.
Did you just say Rey Skywalker?
I said Skywalker. Ugh.
Wow. I'm clipping that.
Rey, whatever her last name is. Everyone loves her. Even her enemy, which, enemies to lovers thing, done poorly.
That is done awfully.
Yeah. Goes into...
Wait a second. Wait a second. Moving the enemies to lovers down one. Just because that's in Rise of Skywalker.
She doesn't have to really work for anything. Mm-hmm. So she outshines all of her peers in every aspect that her co-stars have a shine. She outshines them. Everyone likes her, and she has no struggles and flaws. She is almost a definition of Mary
she has
Sue.
flaws. She has to deal with how good she is at everything. It's hard to be that good. Yeah. Can't you relate to that? Can't you relate to someone being an awesome fighter pilot as soon as they enter a plane? Or a ship, I should say. Isn't that relatable? Isn't that nice?
Oh, God. Yeah, no. You know what? Rings of Power. Let's put it.
Rings of Power, okay. But so that is something I just learned then. So Mary Stu and Gary Stu extends to it basically means no conflicts going on with the character. They are good at everything and they have no problems.
Yeah, I think the biggest one is everyone likes them and no one outshines.
One question
Mary Sue, and the universe surrounds them.
One question then. James Bond. Is James Bond a Gary Stu?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
So does that mean it goes to F? Because James Bond's cool.
You're bringing up a very interesting point.
I mean, think about it. Rings of Power level, like we should only put one at that level. Rings of Powers. Like you put very few things. I think F.
Fair. You know what? We may move it later, but
because we got to save that for the worst of the worst, Like
because there's plenty of self-insert stories that are like that's what they are, and it's fine.
They're just supposed to be that guy.
You're just supposed to put yourself in their shoes. Like they're not an actual character.
So what's F tier? F tier. This is
Let's
gonna be a long video. Strap in, everybody.
Oof. Okay, we gotta go a little. Let's start going.
Let's take our time. Hey, get a coffee. Get a drink. Get something. Whether it's the morning.
I'm trying to look out for you. You're the one that edits videos.
This is fun. Okay, next one. Friends to lovers.
That goes a solid C. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. It seems like that's just normal.
I'm honest. My initial reaction, again, we are critical here. I'm sorry if you're just watching our channel for the first time, unwelcome. Get out. No, but friends to lovers, I think, is a genuine F tier.
Really?
The reason I think
can't think of one.
No, it can be. It happens a lot, obviously, but a lot of times it could be a forced romance, or it could be very cliche, very obvious, and sometimes a platonic relationship is more rewarding than a forced romance. And whereas why I prefer the enemies, I guess I prefer the enemies to lovers way over the friends to lovers, is because there's more of a directive behind that, where the enemies to lovers, there's an arc. There's an arc of they had to go through something to get there, whereas friends to lovers, it's all right, you were friends, and now you're lovers. I think I just said what the thing was, friends to lovers. It's just, there's nothing interesting about it.
I don't know. It's just you see a relationship grow and blossom into something different. That's what it is.
Maybe I'm just more pessimistic than.
I don't know. It seems normal and fine to me.
Do you think we'll one day be?
No.
Okay.
That door is closed and locked shut.
So I think D tier because you said C, I said F. We got to meet in the middle.
D, fine.
Okay. Look, we're already our relationships. Okay. For audio only listeners, we have a new plushie. He's flipping the plushie into angry mode. All right, fellowship trope.
I think that has to be S tier. Because I've never seen it done poorly, and it always makes a story better.
Agreed. S tier. What is there to complain about when you have a group of people going together, a band, whether it's for a group of 3, group of 10, and I don't think
they come to different circumstances, bring them together for a common goal.
It brings interesting personalities. They could either clash, work together. You can get unique ones where there's that Bands of Brothers. What's that book?
Kings of the Wild.
Kings of the Wild, which has a cool fellowship you've referenced. Also, we had a pod episode with the Gwyn brothers who loved the fellowship as well. So, I mean, yeah, everybody loves fellowship. We're going S tier.
Mm-hmm.
And next one, a good old-fashioned quest.
Ooh. I think we got our first B. I love a good quest. It's up there of that's what fantasy is. Like, you go back to the earliest type of fantasy. Like, think King Arthur. What is that whole story? King Arthur goes on a quest. It's all quests. D&D campaigns. It's going on a quest. All the good stuff. Like, all of these are quests.
Our ride to 10,000 subscribers. It's a quest. Subscribe down below.
Oh God.
I think that's a good B tier.
Yeah. It's always pretty darn good, but
classic. Yeah.
It doesn't outshine everything, but it's not for bad.
What makes a quest even better is typically a quest is given to a fellowship. So the quest is not the premonition, is the prelude to the fellowship getting together. So good quest. Now, how about this one? Point of views coming together.
Gotta be A. I love that. It is always so much fun seeing that all the characters, and if the POVs are separate, typically that means the audience has knowledge the characters don't know, and it's always so cathartic when the characters come together and they start piecing things together that the audience has, and it's so wonderful moments.
Yeah, agree with everything said there. So A tier, it's especially when the characters disperse at the beginning of a book, where, hey, they work together, they're separated, and they come back 5 books later or 6.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? And then you see the growth of all the characters. Oh, say it. What are you going with?
I'm just saying I'm having those moments in Wheel of Time already on my second read through.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting that reaction of the come together moment, and the other characters see how much a character has changed. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm loving it.
Is it wrong to say every major series might do that? Game of Thrones does it. Or Song of Ice and Fire does it. Lord of the Rings does it. Wheel of Time does it.
Yeah.
It's such... Yeah. Stormlight does it. Everything does it.
Well, typically, if you have multiple POVs, they're gonna separate at some point. They're not always gonna be together.
How boring would that be?
It'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
If they were just always together. Something always kind of separates them. And so if they separate, they have to come back together at some point.
Yeah, A tier. I think the only reason not S tier is what? Because
it could be handled not well sometimes. Like, if there wasn't enough of a change, it can just feel pointless.
You know why that's okay though? This next one's an S tier. Last Stand. Don't even
I'm
at me.
I'm actually going to disagree with you on this one.
Are you joking?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's that good. I think it's done poorly I think it's done poorly more times than it's done well.
What?
Because most of the time when I see the Last Stand trope, it's accompanied by a Deus Ex Machina.
Okay, go on that.
Almost every time you get a last stand type thing, it's always right after the last stand. There's some type of Deus Ex Machina that swoops in and saves the day. Because if you have a last stand, there's typically consequences, and most stories trying to avoid those consequences with it.
Whoa. Okay, when I think Last Stand, first thing that comes to mind is Gandalf riding over that hill. And it's not a Deus Ex Machina in that situation. But
the characters. So, Gandalf is
No, he's a savior. But the last stand is Helm's Deep. No, that's Helm's a last stand. And just like in Minas Tirith, it's a last stand. You have some of the most epic battles are just Ride of the Rohirrim. Death. How do you know? I'm so stunned. Okay, so you've read more stories than me, so you've seen more last stands that just fell flat.
Yeah, just normally when you know it. Now, here's the thing. Lord of the Rings does it well where you know Gandalf is coming. And it's kind of hyped up. If it's not much of it's a last stand, kind of.
That's disgusting, by the way. Don't ever say that. You said it was done well. No, it's done. We say perfect. When you say Lord of the Rings, you say perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
But here's the thing. They're kind of outweight. They don't know if Gandalf's going to get there in time. So they're their last stand until Gandalf arrives. They're waiting for that. When I think of last stand, I think of there's no one coming. There's no one coming. We're it. We're all going to die here together. And then, of course, something sweeps in and saves the day.
This also happens in, I don't know if we should say all the series it happens in because it's kind of...
we're thinking the same thing.
But it's another great moment in Last Stand.
It's done well there because our main POV is not from the people doing the last stand. It's from the saviors.
Yeah.
And that's different. You know what I mean?
But in Lord of the Rings, it's done from their perspective.
Yeah.
Man, where's it been done poorly? Without a big spoiler, because that's
hard
thing,
for me to actually say without being.
Man, so what would you say then on the tier list? Because I'm saying S. I'll meet you at the middle, wherever you want to put it.
I want to put it at D, but
that's disgusting. No.
I'll settle on B.
Give me low A. This is the one ask we ask you guys. Give me low A. Come on, give me this one.
Fine, you get it.
Simp. All right, next one.
All right.
I give you 3 or 4. Then you give me one little nugget. All right, next one here. Character is also new to the world. That trope.
I don't think
your classic Harry Potter, Percy.
Good, but it's necessary.
Oh, I mean, it's Frodo, Harry Potter, Percy. What else? I mean,
Frodo.
Rand. Yeah, Frodo. I mean,
I guess
Frodo's adventuring the entire world for the first time. You're experiencing this, but it's very. I would say right with Quest.
That's fair. I agree with you.
Would you think it's ahead or below? I think below. Right below Quest.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. B tier, right below Quest. Next one. Lost. Lost Civilization.
You okay there?
No. I'm getting nervous that you're going to say, my S tiers are now your D tiers, apparently. That's insane. All right. Lost Civilization. What do you think?
Again, this is one I'm almost tired of. I like them, I guess, but it's always I want to see the actual cool civilization, not the sad ruins. And this is personal bias. This is just reading too many stories of this lost civilization, and then I'm like,
one thing to change your mind. You ready? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That necessarily a lost civilization?
It was lost and found, much like I don't know. Your phone, you lost and found civilization.
I mean, there's a lost civilization in it, but it's not the biggest part of the story. That's not really.
Damn, I thought we'd bond over that one. Okay.
What do you mean? How is that?
It's like our favorite show.
Yes, but how is the lost civilization trope in there?
Oh, the civilization that got destroyed, and you don't know what happened to it, so it's a big plot point. And it's like, what happened to this civilization that was once here? Now it's lost.
I guess so. It just didn't seem that as important.
So what were you going to give it on the tier list here?
I was going to give it C.
C? I was going to give it A.
Fine.
So meet at B?
Meet at B.
Now.
Above characters, but below Quest.
All right, let's do that. Now, you're not even allowed to talk for this one. Redemption is the best ever. It's S tier. I'm moving it up there. You tell me what you were gonna put it at, and then I'll see if I allow it.
I was debating between S and A tier.
Okay, so S tier.
Yeah, I mean, it's so.
Can you give me this ahead of Fellowship?
Yeah, no, it's ahead of Fellowship because it's just far more fun. More fun of a trope.
I knew you agreed with me on this. I was just being antagonistic, but redemption's my favorite trope ever.
I don't like redemption of some pretty awful people. Like when the real supervillain goes through a redemption, and I'm just sitting there going, no, this guy should get the chair. Like, no forgiveness.
No, you're right.
I don't like where the ultimate villain who's killed all these people and has been an awful person gets forgiven, is redeemed. I typically do not like that trope.
Very fair point. The redemptions can be done. There's several instances where it's done poorly, but every time it's done well, it's always the best thing in the book or the movie. Every time let's say there's 20 tropes in a book. Mm-hmm. Now I know you prefer one over mine, and I have it in the list. Don't worry, I have your trope in there you love. Mm-hmm. So we'll say second best for you. But if there's 20, 30 tropes in a book, the one that always stands out the most, if it's done well, is the redemption trope for your character. Especially, it just tells so much about the character, or shows so much about the character, their growth, their journey over several novels or whatnot, and the twist on that of the redemption that was cut short. The what could have been.
Oh, those hurt the most.
Those are awesome.
Oh, God.
In such a painful way. But you get what I'm saying. So
yeah.
There's also one or two I could think top of my head. I don't want to spoil things, though, of redemptions done poorly where they try to redeem an evil character. And you're totally right. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And just for that, maybe when we get to your favorite trope, we'll see.
Little pop
we'll see.
Above.
All right, the next one. Next trope is protagonist related to the antagonist. What'd you think about that one? So, Luke.
I don't think it's not necessarily bad, but for some reason I associate it with other bad story ideas.
Huh.
Do you get what I mean?
So you don't associate it immediately with like Star Wars or something like that?
And it wasn't the first thing that popped in my head.
Really?
Oddly enough.
Huh.
So.
This one's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
C tier?
Yeah, I guess C tier.
Bottom C, let's say. Right below enemies to lovers. Okay. Next one, a main character dies.
I think A.
I almost want to say S. I almost want to say it. It's hard to do it bad or poorly. It's hard to kill off a main character poorly because you dedicate all this time to the character. How do you screw that up? I guess if there's a wrong time, if it's too short.
And then after, like, what comes afterward, do you like those other characters more
I'm walking
than
it back. You're right. I'm walking it back now.
Here's the thing, though.
The timing matters.
That happens so infrequently. I'm struggling to think of a time when it's done poorly.
I can think of some in bigger series, but it's not with it's more, I guess you can't consider them main characters.
Like when the main character dies, it's typically for a darn good reason.
Yeah.
And
the ones I'm thinking of are more side characters, very important side characters, but you can't consider them main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to go bottom S maybe? Or top A? I'll go
top
with
of A.
Top A? Okay.
Top of A.
All right. So right ahead of point of views coming together. Yeah, it deserves that spot. Next one. This is one I was really curious on your take.
Okay.
Time travel. We're getting more into some sci-fi ones now.
I would typically give time travel like somewhere between an F and D because it's handled almost every time poorly. Mm-hmm. I only know of one book series that handles it superb. And then the other way is for TV shows where I'm thinking like Doctor Who.
You could say that series Lacanis because it's not time travel's in the book.
Lacanis is in it's in the book. Time travel's handled masterfully in it. It's perfect handling. The other way you could do it that do it well is if you make it more comedic and you don't take it too seriously.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking Doctor Who has it's all time travel.
What about Back to the Future? It's fun.
Yeah, it's handled well.
What about Groundhog's Day? Is that considered time travel? Repeating the same day over and over? It's a form of time travel.
It's different.
I consider it time travel.
I guess so. Yeah, it can be handled well.
But when it's screwed up, it ruins the story. Honestly, one of the biggest problems that I have, this actually goes into the next trope, so I won't. It
Go
does.
with it. What
I
is
was
it?
going to just say Marvel in general with time travel sucks.
Mm.
And that's more of the multiverse problem, but that's the next trope we're going into. But it's done poorly there with Endgame. I didn't like that aspect of Endgame. Also, it's a tough thing to navigate. It can kind of break some stakes if it's done too loosely. I know Harry Potter, in which
Harry
book
Potter
was
does,
it?
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Right. And all the books of Harry Potter, from what I've been told by big Harry Potter fans, the books are kind of self-contained magic systems. So the next books just kind of forget about the previous ones and whatnot, which is why so it can really break some plots. Maybe D, because it can be done well. C, maybe?
Let's do top of D.
Okay.
Top of D, because I think it's more often bad than not, but it can be handled well.
Yeah.
Especially if you had to put severe limits on it.
Yes.
Or make it so much chaos where time travel is not the focus of it. It is a plot device, not a main focus of the story.
It's hard to make it not a main focus if it exists,
Yeah.
but you'd have to have the best part about treat it like a magic system. Magic is interesting because of the limits and the consequences of the magic. If it's just Freebird,
And if you treat it like a magic system, you either do the hard magic or soft magic. So I'm thinking with, again, I always like to mention Doctor Who. Doctor Who, especially in the classic stories, the Doctor sometimes didn't have control over the TARDIS and where he went to. The TARDIS kind of just took him to places that he was needed.
right? It's fun.
So, okay, he goes in sometime, he can't get it working again, who knows, but now he's stuck there. And then he solves a problem, and then he goes away. Handled well, and then other times, it's techno-babble junk of why something isn't working, and why he can't just immediately solve the problem with time travel. Or he tries to do it, and through some techno-babble way, it actually makes the problem worse. So, it's handled that way, but it's handled just so loosely.
It's more
That it's
serialized, and it's
Well, also the main character's an alien who's far smarter than humans, and so you have a level of...
yes, your parameters of suspension of disbelief are set up properly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it makes the time travel fun and gimmicky in a good sense. I say that.
When, for some reason, with like high intelligent aliens are doing the time traveling, you just kind of go, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to understand the complexities. If it's like humans are somehow doing time travel, you're going, no, this is stupid. Why? You identify with them, so you don't have that kind of blind trust.
I can't believe we didn't mention this, but a great movie. I can't say my favorite movie. It's an excellent film though. Interstellar deals with time travel beautifully.
I actually haven't seen it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I know. I need to see it.
Yeah, you do. So handles time travel beautifully to the point where maybe we bump this to C. Do we?
Put it bottom of C.
Bottom of CVs. We've been saying some good things.
I can
about
say,
it.
yeah, I can say some good things.
Next one, this trope, multiverse. The multiverse trope. The only case I've seen an excellent multiverse is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's the only one.
And Marvel's multiverse in Phase 4 has been awful.
Yep.
So that's been a problem. Also, the problems
Honestly,
with multiverses.
comic books in general deal with multiverse probably the most. It's my least favorite thing about comics.
What makes you hate multiverses, generally speaking?
It just makes everything nonsense and nothing's important. And it's just so free when you get all tied up like with, I don't know, Spider-Man basically gets cucked in one of the new comic book storylines where Mary J kind of goes off with this other guy in an alternate dimension and blah, 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 blah. Ruins Spider-Man again and that whole love life junk. And then I'm just kind of going, why do I care?
I love that's the first thing that came to mind when you thought of multiverses. So yeah, Spider-Man gets cooked.
Just think, it's going to change. It's
yeah.
Okay, so we wait a couple months, a year, I don't know, the universe is going to get reset anyway, and there's going to be some other multiverse thing, and instead of Spectacular Spider-Man, it's going to be Ultimate Spider-Man now, and Ultimate Spider-Man, all the problems that we disliked are fixed. who gives a shit? Like, who cares?
Yeah, that is the ultimate problem with multiverse. I agree. It lowers it. The thing with Marvel, here's the way to say it. They're trying to raise the stakes of everything, because how do you outdo Infinity War is my favorite Marvel film, but then an Endgame, how do you outdo that? You have to make it a multiversal level problem. But by raising the stakes, it almost lowers the stakes. Because if it's infinitesimal and nothing matters, like, oh, then the Spider-Man over there exists as well. Even if, let's say, Tom Holland, by the way, No Way Home is also a great film, so
spoilers, I guess, for No Way Home.
Just more so, when you narrow the focus of a story like you did in No Way Home, the multiverse was an aspect of it, but it narrowed the story on his struggle and his friendships and his relationships. That's what made it a great film. It had some plot issues. There were glaring plot issues, actually, but at least it hit you more emotionally and affected it. It narrowed in scope, just like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
If you want your story to be taken seriously, the stakes have to be personal.
Yeah.
However, it's not necessary to make things fun. You can have very fun where the stakes are not very personal. Like, I'm thinking to myself, Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon, like, there's not really personal stakes, but it's super fun.
So where would you put multiverses on this tier list?
I think Multiverse has to go in F. It's mostly handled poorly.
But
it sometimes can be kind of fun.
If EEAO, Everything Everywhere All didn't exist, I think it would be Rings of Power tier.
Fair enough.
Oh, wait a second. Spider-Verse. Ooh, that's another great multiverse movie.
It's good. Let's not say great.
What?
Great is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Not the same thing.
Spider-Verse? You don't think it's great?
Oh, we're thinking Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I thought we were thinking of the third.
Oh, No Way Home?
No Way Home.
No, Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
That's a great film.
It's a fantastic film, yeah.
I think even though we have our problems with multiverses.
A D. Low D.
Low D.
Fair enough.
All right, low D. And a quick thing I want to say to the audience, if you're still watching, this is going to be a long freaking video, so keep strapped in. We're not even a quarter way through.
Let's get right into it. We're wasting too much time. Let's go.
No, I kind of want to talk to the audience more. Like, we've got plenty of time.
Oh, sure.
How did work go today?
It's amazing how much work I can do on so little sleep I'm getting.
Again.
Oh, look at the time.
Again, we're recording late. This is fun. The only reason Richard's dressed up nice is because he wanted to show me up.
I didn't get to change out of my work clothes.
Oh, I thought it was you're trying to intimidate me or something.
That's a happy side effect, but
okay.
Not the intention.
The next trope, McGuffin. And for those who don't know, McGuffin's your artifact that's used for a plot element. And I'm always very confused with the term McGuffin because I've seen some people refer to something like the Ring in Lord of the Rings as a McGuffin, and some don't consider it McGuffin because the definition is a little murky for where some people believe it means an artifact or something that's essential to the plot that doesn't mean anything or doesn't, it's only there for the plot. I've heard some people define McGuffin as, and others, it's an item with powers that moves the plot forward. So it's small differences, but I've seen some people say the Ring is a McGuffin, and some say it isn't. What camp do you lie in?
I always thought that a McGuffin was just an item, like basically an inanimate object that pushes the plot forward.
Okay.
That's kind of how I always thought it. It's where some stories where a character pushes the plot forward. In others, it's a McGuffin. That could be good or bad.
Let's use that definition then as the broad term. So where do you think that lies?
I put it just above Lost Civilization, between Quest and Lost Civilization in B tier.
Okay.
I think it's good because when I think McGuffin, I'm thinking like
cool stuff.
I'm thinking the Lost, the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like that's a McGuffin.
All right,
it's a great McGuffin.
Can we go below Lost Civilization?
Fine, I can acquiesce.
Damn, double simp. All right, next one. We've got Epic Battle.
Ooh.
Don't throw me a curveball here. I mean, we're both on board Epic Battle. So
Epic Battles are great.
Right?
It has to be A, though.
Has to be A,
it's
but
not S.
Right below Last Stand. Come on. Right below. Because Last Stands are epic battles, but they're cooler epic battles. Because it's Last Stands. It's got to be below Last Stand.
Fine.
Thank you. Triple simp. I'm just gonna keep.
I agree with you.
All right. Next one, antagonist to ally.
What do you mean?
Antagonist. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So antagonist. Yeah, the Zuko. Also, a book we read by an indie author, Stephen Googlich. His book, Piercing the Veil.
Oh, that's a great antagonist to ally.
Really impressive book. It's his first ever published book. We interviewed him.
Mm-hmm.
Super impressive.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And
have
also,
to shout that out.
I do love that character.
Yeah.
The character's so good.
Yeah, so good.
That villain is. I don't want to spoil things.
Antagonist, not villain.
That is true.
Right. So antagonist to ally. What do you think of that trope?
I'd say it's either high B or low A. Because
High B
when
or
it
low
is
A?
done, mainly when that's done well, the antagonist is now the best character in the story and often
Right.
outshines the main character, that is what happened in Stephen Googlich's story. So
Right. I think that's where I kind of want our relationship to go, because I'm your antagonist and I kind of do outshine you now, but I also will when we get that ally ship going on in the future.
you're giving up on the old enemies to lovers bit.
Oh no, our friends. Oh, you're not calling us friends. That's even better. That's pretty good. All right. So are we going? Let's go low A because of Stephen Googlich, because of the guy we interviewed. He had a great book. So let's give low A. All right. Next one. Sympathetic villain.
I am sick and tired of sympathetic villains.
Let's go. So am I. Give me some pure evil.
I love a good pure evil villain.
Yes.
Honestly, my favorite villain, my caricature of favorite villain is Skeletor. That's my favorite villain. That picture is just the picture in my head of that Skeletor voice is perfect. I love it.
Hell yes. Preach that. Listen, there's a reason we tolerate each other. Because sympathetic villains, it's a trend.
Yeah.
Don't get me. There's also great sympathetic villains, and they exist. But I think it's hitting that point in modern fantasy where it's
done enough.
It's done enough.
We don't need it.
Let's say D.
Well, a big part is there is a difference between a sympathetic villain and a sympathetic antagonist.
Yes.
Definitely a difference.
Clear distinction.
I don't think there's very many, if at all, very good sympathetic villains. I think most of the time it's done poorly. Because at that point, they're doing awful things. It's just I don't care. I'm thinking of from the manga, there's My Hero Academia, the main villain. You don't know it, but people watching maybe.
Okay.
The main villain, Shigaraki, is a very much a villain, but he's supposed to be a very sympathetic villain. And I'm just sitting there going, he's killed a lot of people. I don't care how sad his childhood is. I don't give a shit. He's evil. Right. Put him down. So
the big distinction being villain is someone morally reprehensible.
Yeah.
Just evil. Whereas the antagonist is just the person opposing your protagonist. So they can be more sympathetic because a parent can be an antagonist in a story. Yeah. Where it's from the kid's point of view and they're trying to skip school. Where the parent is going, you can't skip school. That's not an evil thing. You're trying to make but they're the antagonist of the story. So sympathetic antagonist can be done super well. Villain, you're right to say, is very, very hard to do because after you slaughter a bunch of people, commit genocide, you just no, you're not sympathetic. So I'm saying bottom D, maybe not F, maybe, because I don't think it deserves to be in the same line as Mary
That's
Sue.
fair.
So let's go
bottom of D.
Yeah, right below. I'd say Multiverse is better. There's better cases of Multiverse than sympathetic villain.
I'd agree with you.
All right. Next one. Oh, here we go. Next one's your pure evil villain.
Pure evil villain, I think that has to go top of B.
I was going to say top C.
Top of C.
Top
Why
of C.
so?
Because I'm dead average, a good, evil, just pure evil villain. Good. Nice. It's in a lot of stories. It's not like you can do much to make it stand out in the story. What else can you do with that? It's a pure evil villain.
Well, pure evil villains, the thing to make it stand out is just how intimidating they are or how charismatic. And that's the real where, you're not on their side, but for some reason you just like them being on screen because they're just so much fun.
Honestly, Puss in Boots 2.
Yeah.
With what's his name? Johnny?
Jack Horner.
Jack Horner's just pure evil. He's great.
Yeah, he's a wonderful villain.
Actually, yeah, just because we were on our same side with Sympathetic, I'll say top of B. Yeah, because you're right. Because how threatening the villain is makes it more interesting. That's what you can do with the trope.
Yeah.
Okay. Top of I just keep looking at Lost Civilization. I'm like, I love it too much. But anyways, black and white morality. What do you think about that trope?
I like it more and more now. It's just something that I appreciate more where, yeah, I guess the whole morally gray characters, they are interesting, but I like my Lord of the Rings. If I do prefer seeing a story and characters take a stance on right and wrong.
I like that. I think this more so goes to my previous point. This is hard to do something different with. It's just you get what you see is what you get with this trope. So there's not much you can do new to it, but I also like it. I like gray stories and I like black and white stories. Where do you think this should place? I think this is definition of C tier. Mid tier, just hey, top of C.
I'd say bottom of B.
Just to disagree with me? Is that why you said that?
No, because I would put gray morality at like C tier. That's why. I just slightly edge it out.
All right. Bottom B for now. When we get to gray, maybe we talk about that and see where that goes. Oh, wait. It's right here.
Yeah, right there.
Gray characters is the next. It's like I designed this way.
There you go.
So gray characters is the next trope. You think top of C?
After Empire's Falling.
After Empire's Falling. Oh, you know what? This is something where it depends on the day you ask me. It depends on the day you ask me because I think black and white morality and gray characters, I'm going to be so non-combative about this. I think they're equal. They're equal in their strengths because it's very much dependent on the story. If you're given this trope, gray characters can be done super well and interesting. Obviously, Song of Ice and Fire.
I'm fine with putting it just behind black and white morality at bottom of B.
Good negotiating. We'll do that. But I think those could be interchanged depending on the day. But we'll put it there for now. Because this next one, curious on this.
Yeah.
Antihero.
I like it. I like a good antihero.
Okay.
Because typically by antihero, it just means a hero that's willing to kill. That's basically what it means.
Yeah.
That's just how it normally is done.
They have more of the things they do aren't Superman-esque. They're not a lawful good. They're a chaotic good. That kind of. Or a neutral good. Maybe it's more. No.
Even then.
What's the right term, you think?
I don't know. They just.
Chaotic neutral. Is that the right for antihero? Where would you place that on that scale? Chaotic good?
I guess.
Okay. Because antiheroes, Deadpool being one. What other antiheroes come to mind when you think of a
Punisher? You'd get. A lot of comics have it, but.
Black Adam.
Okay, yeah, you want to lower that score.
That's a bad antihero.
If we're gonna go through books, honestly, one of the main characters in Black Prism is an anti-hero, or kind of evolves into that.
All right, I'll give you full power with this ranking then. Where do you want anti-hero to go? This is all you.
Middle of C.
So right in between enemies to lovers and protagonists related to antagonists.
Yeah. I'm so neutral on this.
I like that. Could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. All right, next one. A good old duel trope.
Ooh.
A duel.
S tier.
Yeah. How do you go wrong with a duel?
Oh, God. It's honestly almost always is the best chapter of a book.
Below Fellowship, though, right?
Below Fellowship, yeah.
But Duels S tier, yeah, go on. That's the best chapter of a book.
I'm just thinking the past several books that you've been reading, all of them stick out. Were literally the chapter called "The Duel."
Yeah.
In
Sword of Kagan.
I
think we say it wrong. I think it's Sword of Kagan. We always say
Sword of Kagan.
But yeah, great book, and the duel in that. Not gonna spoil it whatsoever, but there's a duel, of course.
It's the best chapter of the book.
It's awesome. The duel in Stormlight, which not spoiling everyone knows, but not spoiling what it is. But
The duel in the first book of the First Law trilogy.
Okay.
Ooh, God, I was so hyped up for that one, and it delivered. So I'm thinking through Rage of Dragons, of course. There's several duels, but one more hyped up than the others. Yeah, no,
Duels are awesome.
It's always great. It's never done badly.
Easy S tier.
Yeah.
Easy S tier. Okay, this next one, plot armor. Plot armor.
Top of D.
Not F. Explain
No.
yourself.
James Bond. You look at Lord of the Rings, like literally God standing in your way to kind of like help the story along, where it's plot armor is just, of course the character doesn't die because the plot's helping him along the way.
The best way that I've heard how to do plot armor correctly is the protagonist survives because how's it go? They rather than they survive because they're protagonists, they're the protagonist because they survive. Is the way to look at it. So to look at plot armor of Frodo, for example, of it not being that kind of plot armor is it's not that he was protected. He survives because he's the protagonist. He is the protagonist because he's the only one that could have survived. He's the only one that could have made it, which is what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
Makes it rewarding.
I just want to say, the genius of Robert Jordan is that he wrote in plot armor into his magic system. It's like, I just want to get around like how much of a writing trick that is. Like, hey, people may like accuse me of writing in plot armor to my story. Well, guess what? It's a part of the magic system.
So you think top of D ahead of Friends to Lovers there?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just stay quiet for that one. I mean, my own tools have been used against me. Just for that. All right, top of D. Let's move. Wait, it's not. Oh, there it goes. Okay. The mentor trope.
Somewhere in B.
Somewhere in B, you can't decide where.
Yeah, because I can think of several which is like the mentor's there, but I'm just not.
Let's go right behind Lost Civilization.
Okay.
There's not much else to say with mentor other than it's a
normally
trope
pretty good, but
yeah.
Just overall not as memorable as everything else.
Yeah. Next one, talking animals. I have a personal opinion about this that I will keep confidential until you speak, because I want to see if we agree on talking animals.
On paper, I like talking animals. On paper. But to kind of emphasize my point, Homeward Bound. There's two different versions. Like there's the original and then there's the sequel immediately.
Homeward Bound? What's that?
Homeward Bound. It's about two dogs and a cat get lost, or like they kind of get trapped and they're trying to find their way home.
Okay.
The very first one, there is no talking. The animals don't talk, but there's a narrator. And the second one is when the animals talk to each other. And the second one is much worse for it. It's somehow like animals are cuter when they don't talk. And it's just more adorable seeing them act out in their own way and the narrator narrating above them.
So this is when did this come out? What is this?
Don't you have a childhood?
No.
You didn't watch Homeward Bound?
No, I didn't. I guess I was
things we need to fix.
Yeah, I was like a hermit, I guess. So I had never seen. It's a show, right?
It's a movie. Yeah,
it's a movie. Okay,
it's like a Disney movie.
Well, the first thing I think of with talking animals is Discworld. I mean, think Small Gods, where you have the god, the turtle of
that's
Om.
also done well.
I mean, come on.
A lot of the animals.
Personal opinion, okay? I didn't remember this trope until I was researching for things to put in here. Genuinely think this is an S tier trope. And you're going to have to talk me down. Talk me off the cliff, because I love talking animals. It's even
Does Jar Jar Binks count as an animal?
That was so mean. That was so evil. Is Jar Jar Binks... He's an alien species.
I think it counts as an animal.
Does that count? The commenters or watchers, let us know if that counts. Does Jar Jar Binks count as a talking animal? If you're an alien sentient species, maybe not?
More I think, but
but that's
it's done. It's done better than it is done poorly.
Let's go.
Just don't dislike. I just remember Homeward Bound being better when out talking animals.
Let's go bottom of A.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So below antagonist to ally.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Next one, God level threat. That trope. What you think of God level threat?
F.
What? What? Was that am I being pranked?
Typically, yeah, F.
F, what? Explain.
It's normally boring.
A God level threat.
I can think of a few examples where it's done okay.
Are we thinking of the same kind of trope? Or what are you thinking with God level threat?
Like, literally extinction level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally boring.
You hate those?
Yeah. I just don't like them.
Oh, this is new.
I just don't like it.
Wow.
I like things despite that.
Huh.
Unless it's done for comedy.
Okay. So
One Punch Man does it.
Is there a good example? Like, what's one that you hate that you can think of that's just done poorly?
Thing is, I'm convincing myself out of that stance immediately, going through like, oh, Wheel of Time. Damn.
Well, I mean, every story has, not every story, but there's a lot of huge stakes God level threats of Wheel of Time.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. You got.
I don't know. It just never makes the, like, it's there, but I don't think it makes the story better. It doesn't typically raise the stakes.
You can't say F though. You're not even giving the kid a chance. Just let him fly.
C then.
All right, let's go C. Let's go.
It just doesn't
below.
It does not make a story for me.
Can we go ahead of Antihero?
Sure.
All right.
It just doesn't improve a story to me.
I could see that, but F just shocked me.
That was a gut reaction.
It was uncalled for.
That was just a from the hip gut reaction.
Listen, no need to apologize to me. Apologize to them.
I'm never apologizing to them.
Them?
I refuse.
Guys,
I refuse to ever apologize for anything I say on the internet.
Now, what do you think about this next one? Deus Ex Machina.
Rings of Power.
I think this is the one. Can you ever do a Deus Ex Machina well? Wait. Oh, now I'm thinking of something.
There's almost always an exemption to our rules.
There's an exemption. No, I think this deserves Rings of Power.
Okay.
Because yes, yeah. This is the one. This is the one. It's poor. 99 times out of 100, it's poor planning. 99 times out of 100, it's you've written yourself into a hole. Here's something. A Chekhov's gun is not a Deus Ex Machina. So if you signal something exists and then that comes to save the day, those are situations where it's not. Deus Ex Machina is literally God saves the day. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Left field. It's a poorly written thing. We're good there.
For me, ending of the Brent Weeks Lightbringer series is, to me, a Deus Ex Machina. It kind of ruins the whole series for me.
Ooh. And I will say this, one of the poorer parts about In the Shadow of Lightning by Brian McClellan, who we had on, was great. Love you, Brian. He watches all of our stuff, of course. He's going to be 2 hours into this podcast. No, he doesn't.
That's why we're saving to talk about him this late into the podcast. He won't get this far.
But good book, but there's a Deus Ex Machina in there. I'm like, but okay.
It's a smaller thing. But yeah, Rings of Power. Evil AI.
Evil AI is the next trope. What you think of Evil AI?
I know our friend hates it, but I quite enjoy it.
Our friend calls his name Dominic. Dom.
Yeah.
Dom hates it.
It hates it, yeah. But no, bottom of B?
Bottom B for Evil AI. I would even say, I think it's middle.
Just C?
Yeah.
Right and C.
Let's go below Empire's Falling. I think even Empire's Falling is more interesting than it. But it's still interesting. Evil AI can, like, we read, what's that recent book we read? Ooh, what was it?
It's A Fire Upon the Deep.
A Fire Upon the Deep. The AI was very powerful there.
It's a god level threat, but it's evil AI, but it's not particularly dived into why that would be interesting.
Fair enough. All right, let's go C tier.
Fair enough.
C tier with that. Next one, Amnesia.
Ugh, I don't like this one.
You hate that?
Generally, I dislike it. There's, I guess, occasionally where it can be done well, but
D tier. It sounds like a D.
Yeah,
And I think I'm with you because it can be used. It's a very gimmicky tool,
especially when it's Amnesia paired with flashbacks.
Oh, wait a second.
You know what I mean? Of like, they don't know what they can't remember, and they're slowly remembering with flashbacks. Yeah.
But wait a second.
Just tell the story linearly.
Stormlight.
Again, there are always exceptions to a rule.
Every time I think of something, a trope I dislike, there's always a story that smacks me in the face and says, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's done perfectly. And it's done perfectly because it does something different and not getting into what it does exactly.
Also, it's minimal. It's a very minimal part of it. It's limited in scope. Because when I think of Amnesia, I'm thinking like Jason Bourne.
Okay, yeah.
And that's just
it's got to be above plot armor, though. Let's go top of D.
Okay.
Top of D there. All right, next, The Chosen One.
Before Wheel of Time, I would have put this like bottom of C.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just never...
This is a solid one.
It's okay.
It's solid.
It's always... I would think it's always there, but it's never that interesting. Typically,
there's some standout ones though. Like Wheel of Time, you like it there.
It's perfect there.
What about?
I don't mean like, oh, it's really good. It's the best that trope can ever be done.
Got it.
It will ever be done. Like, that is it. There's no other series. There's no other story that can handle the Chosen One trope better. It is the exception that defines the rule.
Little insider secret right now. I'm at the end of book 1, Wheel of Time. We're gonna have a Wheel of Time breakdown. We're gonna cover all 14 books on this channel. So it's gonna be a long journey. It's gonna be awesome because you're rereading them. I'm reading them for the first time.
We started rereading at the same time. I'm still faster at reading Wheel of Time than you. I'm almost done with book 2.
To be fair, I read other books in between there. I'm reading Wheel of Time while I'm reading other books. You know,
that is true.
But so the Chosen One trope, where are you putting it?
I have to put it bottom of A for me. Wheel of Time dragged it up.
Bro. Okay.
I know what perfection is.
I was gonna say bottom B.
You'll change your mind after Wheel of Time. You have to trust
just because I'm feeling generous.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it bottom B. All right.
Why aren't you simping? Why aren't you simping for me?
Because okay,
top of B.
It's tough for me to put it behind. We put Lost Civilization too low. Okay, that's my problem. I look at Lost Civilization.
Do you want to move it up?
Okay, listen. Let's make it
bottom of A.
Let's negotiate. Lost Civilization goes bottom A. Chosen One goes top of B.
I disagree, but I'll take that.
Yes. That's all I wanted. Chosen One goes right there. Perfect.
Right.
The Prophecy. What about that trope?
Again, I'm thinking Wheel of Time's I'm trying to think of the ones I actually liked it done. And what's some good ones?
Some good ones?
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind, and it's not spectacular, it's just good. I loved them as a kid, but Percy Jackson has the typical Greek mythology prophecies, and it's solid. Doesn't detract. That's the whole point of the book, and it's fun to solve. That's a good prophecy. I think
Lucanus is done well.
Lucanus has a prophecy. I think I keep going back to YA stuff. Harry Potter prophecy. So the Matrix movie prophecy. So it works. It works.
It works, but it's never a reason to like something. The prophecy aspect is typically, it's there, but it's never, no one ever really falls in love with a story because of the prophecy.
You want to put it right below Empire's Falling and C?
Again, Wheel of Time is the biggest exception to the rule, where it is perfection on the prophecy. It handles that trope perfectly and best that it'll ever be done.
Basically every trope and this list is probably in Wheel of Time. It's such a large and scope series.
It is, but it doesn't do every trope the best out of everything.
But it does the prophecy the best.
Chosen One and Prophecy, it does that better than anything ever can.
I'll let you do, wherever you.
Those are my points.
Wherever you want to put prophecy, I'll agree with it. Where are you thinking? Because you were Topacy. Okay, that's about where. Yeah, I was thinking right around C there. Perfect. Now, it was all a dream.
Rings of Power.
Agreed.
Rings of
now
Power.
Is it?
Tier.
I think this is even worse than Deus Ex Machina. I think we put it bottom of the bottom. What do you think?
I agree. No, definitely below, because I can think of like maybe 1 or 2 stories where Deus Ex Machina is more fun. Like I'm thinking One Punch Man is a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah,
isn't it? Like all the
so.
other heroes are doing something, and then Saitama comes in, saves the day.
Almost not though, because it's set up.
I guess
it's tough to say. You can take it.
No, yeah, it was all a dream, ruined, lost for me and my parents when we were watching it.
Oh yeah, it could ruin any story you ever are invested in. Imagine at the end of any epic series, even if it's Lightbringer, Lucanus, Stormlight, Jade, any fantasy book. At the end, they just say it's all a dream. Destroys the love for it. It takes away, easy.
Even if it's not
tier.
the entire story, it's just a big section of it.
Yeah.
And that whole section was all a dream.
Agreed. Ugh. It sucks. Now, what about medieval setting as a trope? What do you think about that?
Oh, I love it.
Let's go top of B.
Top of B.
All right. And next one, what do you think Amnesia as a trope?
Didn't we already have? Oh, yeah.
No, we didn't.
That's a hilarious joke. I just got that.
Did I get you?
You got me.
I got you. Yes. I was gonna gaslight you the whole time. No, we didn't do Amnesia. All right, we're putting Amnesia right next to Amnesia.
There we go.
All right, next one, the blacking out trope. You know what I'm talking about with this?
Is this the one that I absolutely hate?
Which one are you talking about?
They discussed the plan.
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
This blacking out is, there's a common trope where characters, when you don't want them to see something, they'll get knocked out in a battle or to skip time. You get knocked out, wake up at a different point, or you faint and you wake up at a different time. Something happens and time skips that way by getting knocked out, fainting, some sort of blah, 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 and now you jump forward.
I'm leaning like bottom of C, top of D.
I was joining with bottom C.
Yeah.
It's there. It's sometimes a good trick and can be used real well. Mm-hmm. But other than that, right? Magic.
Just magic.
Magic as a trope. Do we even have to discuss this one? It's just where does it go in S tier?
Really?
Wait, what?
I mean, I'm thinking.
The foundation of fantasy is magic. You don't have fantasy without magic.
I'm fine with top of A.
Wow.
Yeah, just magic's neat and all, but it's handled poorly a lot of times. It's
okay.
It's handled very poorly.
That's a good point, but
most of the time.
Listen, okay, I get you. There's bad magic systems.
Yeah,
but you don't have fantasy without magic. You gotta give it that respect. Just give me bottom S. Just please.
Top of A.
Oh, dude. Rock, paper, scissors.
Fine.
All right, just once. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah. That would have been great if we just had 20 games in a row.
We're just the same. Like rock, paper, scissors, the same.
Well, we got to decide more of these that way. All right, next one.
Dragons, S tier. Always.
S tier?
I can think of only one story ever that does dragons boring.
Is it Name of the Wind?
It is Name of the Wind.
So bottom S tier will go. Behind Duel, because Duel's more epic than Dragons. A dragon duel.
Ooh. Now I want between two dragons, a dragon duel. That's what I want.
Let's write it.
There we go.
No, dragons. I mean, how do you deny dragons?
Dragons are the best.
Yeah. Next one, the love triangle trope.
Again, I would have really disliked it, but Wheel of Time did it well. Not perfect, but did it well.
There's a somewhat love triangle in Stormlight. There's a love triangle in Casablanca. There's
It can be
it
done.
can be done well.
It can be done well. It's not the worst thing ever.
But it's the worst love triangles are usually. I mean, now that we're
When
older,
it's obvious.
Well, also now that we're older, you look back at kind of YA stuff with a more negative light. But in the time, it's not like I minded it that much. But you know, those kind of cheap movies, the obvious love triangles were. What do you think? Where's it going here?
Top of D.
Top of D, ahead of Amnesia, or in between Amnesia and Amnesia.
In between Amnesia and Amnesia.
I like it. Yes, it forms a. You could say they're forming a triangle.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Okay.
That's a line.
Okay, this is another top one that I was interested in what you had to say. The other ones I'm not really interested. This one I am. So, Insta-love as a trope. What do you think?
That's a hard one because
I totter my teeter
right.
on this one.
Yeah,
Did you like that saying?
Yeah.
The totter my teeter. It's like a new thing I'm trying to get to catch on.
You try a lot of new things.
None have stuck.
No. That should have taught you something by now.
Okay. This one's gonna stick. Totter my teeter. Come on now.
Oh God, I'm trying to remember the story of like. God damn, Wheel of Time again. All right, you know what?
Unoriginal hacks.
I'm sorry. It's a long series. It has a lot of stuff, and it does stuff well. But
guys, I think he likes Wheel of Time. This whole thing's an advertisement for our Wheel of Time episodes that we're going to be doing. Another advertisement is also check out Displate, by the way. We actually have our first sponsored Displate where you can get 20% off for buying a Displate or 30% off if you get 3 or more plates. That's all I really have
You can find in the description below. If you also want to support us, we have a Patreon where we do book club where we talk like this with you guys directly.
About
it's
books.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. But a quick thing on the Display, though, that is one they sent us, and they are super cool. Like it's actually a company we could support. Very neat. But hey, it's free to like and subscribe to the video, so you can also do that. Thank you so much.
Insta-love.
When the video hits beyond an hour,
yeah,
we start to just
fall apart. Beyond an hour, I'm just hoping that like at this point, you better be subscribed. If you're listening for this long and you're not subscribed, it's a little weird.
I kind of respect the person more if they unsubscribe at this point.
That's true.
Because
that's
like,
dedication.
Don't let YouTube... Listen, YouTube's an addiction. Get off YouTube. Seriously, I try my best not to use YouTube every day. It's so addicting, and we are part of the problem.
We are.
Honestly, wait a second.
I like being able to talk so freely an hour in because I know so few people. A couple of you guys are gonna. If you're this far into the video, comment down below. Delete YouTube.
Yes,
that's what I want to see. I want to see how far people make it into where our true thoughts come out on how we think that we're actually part of a problem of this culture of incessant content just constantly flowing out where no one can stand to sit in silence for 5 minutes anymore. They always have to have some podcast in their ear while they're eating
cooking.
Their lunch.
Oh, they're probably cooking or doing work or on a run or working out. You incessant fools. I don't know if they can tell if we're joking or not, but we're not.
We're not. We're walking hypocrites is what we are.
We really are. We really do try to stay off YouTube, but at least we think our content's valuable to absolutely nobody. I don't know.
We started because it would be valuable to us.
Now, here's the thing. You watching, listening to this right now, you can watch and view and listen to anything, and you chose this podcast an hour in. Look inward at your life. What has brought you to this?
You could be watching a video about the history of the world. You could be
learning
something interesting. But no, you decide to sit down and listen to two guys ramble about a tier list of fantasy book tropes.
Who cares what we think about Amnesia?
That's a conversation I wouldn't have with this guy at like over the dinner table. But for some reason, we're doing it on a podcast. This is the definition of the biggest waste of time that you could possibly do.
Oh my God.
And that's where most waste of time conversations belong and somehow end up on a podcast.
And I almost flipped my computer over. I do want to say this from the bottom of our hearts. I was going to make a joke, but I won't. I really don't. I don't appreciate We're an hour in. Who cares? It's
no, it's fine.
Okay, here we go. Back to it. You ready?
All right, Insta-love.
Was that not just the weirdest tangent ever?
Again, I love the name of our channel. It's Two to Ramble. We sometimes ramble.
Yeah, I think we just instantly fell out of love with YouTube.
That's a constant problem.
Did you? Oh, he's flipping it. He's flipping the plushie.
I'm having a good time again.
We flipped at like the beginning.
Yep.
This is our mood constantly. A quick thing though, if you are listening this far, and please let us know why. We know we want.
Honestly, that would be really valuable information to know.
Yes, let us know why. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing that you actually are sticking around, and then what can we do better?
And what can we do to get you off of YouTube? That's our ultimate goal. To get you reading more. Read these books. Stop watching us on YouTube. This is going to be so bad for our channel. All right, for real. Insta-love. What do you rank Insta-love?
Somewhere in D.
All right, we'll just toss it in there. I'm going to toss it right ahead of Amnesia.
Fair enough.
All right. Next one, the child savant. The child genius.
F.
Yeah, top of F. Top F. It's overdone. It's
also, children are most of the time annoying. And you add savant on top of it, even more annoying.
Just to add to the joke, I thought you were going to go, most children are annoying. So are our viewers. Just keep on. Like, I think they like abuse at this point. It's like,
well, okay. I've just noticed this from the patrons that subscribe. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And all that. But
they're cool. I love them.
They're cool because they actually will take a joke and throw one back because we just have this atmosphere of we like to rib each other all the time. And so
the audience likes to get ribbed too, right?
Yeah, no, if we're very inclusive in our abuse toward each other that we're close to.
Oh yeah, we don't discriminate.
No.
We are mean to everybody. All right, this next one, the next trope is the I can't tell you yet trope. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, awful. Hate it.
I think Rings of Power tier.
Yes,
Rings
of Power.
Oh, I can't say if it's worse than It Was All a Dream. I don't think it isn't. I think it's between Deus Ex. I think it's worse than Deus Ex Machina.
Yes, definitely.
The I can't tell you because it's not important enough to the plot yet trope.
Honestly, hearing some of these, I kind of want to move Deus Ex Machina out of Rings of Power almost.
Want to put it
bottom of F?
Yeah, sure. I'm feeling it. All right, next one. Coming of age trope.
Oh.
S tier. S tier me. S tier me. Right. Let's go.
I would say it's not just a trope. It's one of the most important types of stories to actually tell, especially in fantasy.
You know what?
It's a necessary, one of the best things that fantasy and storytelling can do to actually teach young people how to grow up and give them lessons on where their life should be going and know that they're not alone in the different thoughts and struggles that they're growing up with. That is one of the most important things about storytelling, and it's the coming of age trope.
Rich, you know how we just told everyone they're wasting their time?
Yeah,
and they watch. Like, listen, that was a great.
And then 30 seconds later,
you gave some really touching.
Well, it's why this whole channel exists and why we love stories so much. Is it really is important?
It seriously is important. Yeah, to go on a serious note, stories are the most important thing in the world.
Yeah,
and coming of ages is one of those most important stories.
Well, you can tell the health of a nation by their stories. Like you look at German stories, German children's stories. You could tell they were going to be a messed up nation there for a little while.
Is this a theory you have? Because this is I'm 100% on board. That made sense.
When you look at their children's stories and you go, yeah, the people that come up with those stories, they're going to start 2 world wars. I get it.
Okay, that's genius. That's an entire stand-up thing you can make off of that joke, I think. Yeah, that's really good.
There's a stand-up joke in there somewhere.
Where do you think coming of age should go on this?
I think between redemption and fellowship.
I'm 100% with you.
That important.
It is that important. Yeah.
It's that essential. So
it's for for children especially, but even for adults, a coming of age story really hits home. It makes the family dynamic better. It makes I'm thinking a lot of movies, but even with especially with books. I should say especially with books.
it also justifies when you think back upon your own childhood, and then you can remember your own growing up and see that you can actually work through maybe, hey, did I have an odd childhood or was I normal? And then you read a coming of age story and you go, oh wait, that was normal, or oh, that was not normal for what happened to me. And you can work some stuff out.
And an even underrated version of coming of age is when you grow older, you can look back on those stories and understand the parents' point of view.
Oh,
and it completely
definitely
flips it, and you
Oh,
go,
yeah.
wow. And so you look at your childhood, both you could see it from the child and from the adult, and it just makes it all more tearful usually. There's a phenomenal movie you still have to watch called After Sun, and it is majestical. That's a word, yeah.
Majestical testicles.
We're over an hour and it can pass. That word can pass.
That's okay.
But it's majestical because no way that's a word. It's
majestic.
It's majestic because it's a story. I'm not going to spoil the story.
Okay.
But it's a father and daughter, and you see from the daughter's coming of age, and you see from the father, and it is touching. I'll leave it at that. But we'll put coming of age there. Is that good?
Yeah.
And the next trope, Richard.
Oh, yeah. This is the best one.
Retired badass.
That is top of S tier. It's the best trope. It's never done poorly. It's always the best.
You think top of S tier?
Yep.
Genuinely, I love to disagree with you.
This is non-spoilers talks, and I know you can actually comment on it. Tom Maryland from Wheel of Time.
I didn't finish book 1 yet.
You're reading book 1. I know you've gotten to Tom Maryland.
It's a spoiler.
You're not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler.
It's not even a spoiler. No. So retired badass. Tom's great. Now, here's the thing. If I'm being completely... Listen, I'm giving you... And I love the retired badass. If this was my ranking, it would go redemption arcs, coming of age, retired badass. That is what I would do. But since you are here, this is the one power I'll bestow upon you. I will allow you to put it above coming of age and below redemption. That is, come on. You got to admit, redemption's the best.
I still like retired badass better.
So let's do this. These are our these are our favorite tropes. My favorite ever is redemption. Your favorite ever is retired badass. You know what it comes down to.
Okay.
Little rock, paper, scissors. For whoever gets the top spot.
Okay, fine.
One game.
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No! I lied. No.
Loser.
All right, retired badass is in the top because of technical reasons. But we all know. The viewers, if you're also watching up to now.
Because I am the chosen one.
Oh, putting in another trope in there. I like that. But you're also going to have amnesia because I'm going to make you forget and then put it back. But if you guys want to comment below what you like more, retired badass or redemption, let us know. And also, remember, what did we have them say? Delete YouTube?
Yeah, delete YouTube.
All right, the next one. Here's the plan trope. This is your... I know this. You said this. Your least favorite trope.
So for those of you guys watching it don't know, every time in a story, if you're reading or watching where they go, if they start to go into the plan of whatever they're doing, if they start going into the plan and then it cuts to black and it just goes, skips forward to when the plan starts, you know the plan's going to succeed because something unexpected is going to happen, but it's actually all a part of the plan and everything's working well. Or if they explain the entire plan, they actually go into details of like, okay, we're going to do this and you're going to go here, blah, 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 blah. You know the plan's going to fail. And realizing that has ruined a lot of stories for me and just destroys my anticipation.
As much as you hate it,
yeah,
it's not Rings of Power.
No, it is not.
It can't be. It's not. I can't tell you yet. It's not. It was all a dream level. It is.
It isn't even. Doesn't kill bad guys. It's not even. I don't even think it's F.
I think bottom of D.
Yeah.
Right below Sympathetic Villain.
I would agree with you because it's a personal thing where
it bothers you.
It's not the worst thing ever. It's just a pet peeve.
Yeah.
It's my most annoying pet peeve, and it's more of, I noticed a pattern.
And you hate that you noticed it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it.
If I did, so I ruined a bunch of stories for you guys now. I'm sorry, but now that you know the pattern, you can't unsee it.
The pattern.
It's like seeing that telling you that Brandon Sanderson makes all of his characters raise an eyebrow all the time, and that's a common phrase. Like every page, some character raises his eyebrow quizzically, something like that. Mm-hmm. Once you see that, you can't unsee it.
So they are forever going to see that now.
Yes.
The wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
You made a Wheel of Time reference.
Can't believe I said that. I have something to say on no Wheel of Time talk, but we're going to have our first episode on that, on the first book. And I have something to tell you that you've never heard before on Wheel of Time. I'm certain you haven't. I'm positive you haven't.
You can tell me that I'm right? I've never heard that out of your mouth.
Well, listen, you're right about where Here's the Plan should go. Bottom of D. You're right about that, okay? I'll give you that. Then the next one, secret heir trope. Which, self-explanatory, right? It's the didn't know you were royalty or long-lost royalty.
It can be done very poorly, but...
This was one of the Gwyn brothers' least favorite, which it's down there. It is down there. But F tier, I don't think F tier. I think D tier.
Yeah, I would say more top of D tier. It's not the worst, because
honestly, yeah, above Insta-love, right?
Because there's something to be said of a story where the character clearly has earned their spot as being a leader and earned the title of king, and then find out that like they're a secret heir, or it's a part of the story. You okay there?
A bug just went in my eye. How do we have a bug down here?
I don't know.
Sorry. Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. So, secret heir, where do you think it should go?
Top of D.
Tickle Me Chimbers, maybe bottom of C.
Tickle Me Chimbers. Why do you keep trying out new phrases?
One's gonna stick, man.
You're not
I
gonna
really
stick.
was hoping you would just let that one go.
Tickle Me Timbers. What was that?
It's now this is the second podcast in a row we're recording at 1 a.m. This has got to stop. All right, secret heir. Are we thinking? I'm thinking the bottom C. I just had a fly stick in my eye. Give me bottom C.
Fine.
All
you
right.
can have bottom C.
Give him bottom C. One for the eyeball. There we go. The next one, your reluctant hero trope.
I love a reluctant hero.
You do?
Mm-hmm. It's always fun to see them dragged into something, and it's normally far more entertaining than an enthusiastic hero. Like someone who wants to be a hero is normally not that very fun.
It's the change that Lord of the Rings did from the books to the movies, where in the books Aragorn was never reluctant. Yeah. Whereas in the movies, they added a reluctant element to him. And I think it was every single decision made, this is a tangent, every single decision made in the movies was made with love and care and dedication to the books. And it is the most accurate you can get. There are deviations here and there, and it is perfect. They are both perfect. The books are perfect, and the movies are perfect. And Peter Jackson gave all of his love, and every actor, every worker, 1 out of 10 New Zealanders worked on that movie.
One comment to the contrary.
Don't.
The Two Towers movie
is a 10 out of 10 with some minor flaws.
We both watched it.
Listen, with some minor flaws. Listen, the warg thing where he falls off the cliff, yes, it's not in the books. And yes, yes, that's true.
Also,
the end scene, yes, the end scene, yes, fine. But listen, it's still 10 out of 10 because it was made with love. Find another adaptation. Anything.
Fine.
Okay. So reluctant hero. Want to go? I'm thinking bottom B. What do you think? Bottom B? It doesn't
above McGuffin.
Where's McGuffin? Oh,
above McGuffin. Below Mentor.
All right, I'll give you that. All right, looked in here out there. Next trope. Here comes the Calvary.
Oh, that's always fun.
Here comes the Calvary. It's, you know what this trope is similar to is
it's similar to the Last Stand.
Yes, Last Stand, because typically there could be a last cavalry charge. Or, well, here comes the cavalry during the Last Stand.
See, I like that more than the Last Stand because typically a last stand is just waiting for the Deus Ex Machina or waiting for the last charge.
I mean,
waiting for the Calvary.
The movie 300, there's no Calvary. It's a freaking last stand.
Yes, that's where it's done. That is a last stand.
Yeah, I'm just giving an example of like an awesome last stand. It's awesome, man. But how about I don't know if I can go above last stand though. Above epic battle as well in A tier? I don't know.
No.
Well,
it's the best part of an epic battle. When an epic battle happens.
But the epic battle includes Here Comes the Cavalry. Therefore, in the Venn diagram goes below epic battle. But we'll give it above antagonist to ally. We got 3 more, folks. If you're still listening, you're a warrior.
Let's get through it before the battery dies.
This bug, I think it went out of my eye, but it like hit my eye and then went out. It's like one of those, okay.
You feel one of its wings still stuck to your eyeball there.
It's like, yeah.
It's rolling into the back of your head. You can't reach it.
Oh, you're describing something like a dystopian novel, which is the next trope. Sometimes the what do you call it? The transitions write themselves. Don't they?
I can tell it's getting late.
Dystopian trope. What do you think about dystopian novels?
I generally like them. And that's just because I'm more of a fan of sci-fi than you, and sci-fi is mostly dystopian in general.
But you know what I'm more of a fan of than you is YA. And YA has a lot of dystopian, so that's where we connect. I'm getting more into sci-fi, but I love a good dystopian. I think we're on the same level of dystopian love here, even though you like sci-fi more.
That is true. A
tier. Come on, say it with me.
Yeah, it's A tier. Dystopian. Yeah.
It's it always lends to a great world and interesting conflict. Dystopian in and of itself produces a conflict and intrigue for the story.
I'd be interested to see a dystopian past rather than because you always see the dystopian futures all the time. That's the most common.
Just look to your childhood.
Thanks. Hi, Mom.
All right, what are we thinking? Where in A? Honestly, I think right between Talking Animals and Lost Civilization.
I'd put it above Talking Animals. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yes! Finally got one.
Win one.
Finally. All right, we got 2 more Utopian stories. I'm going to go off the gate and say I like them a lot less.
Yeah, definitely. The Utopian stories are definitely way less interesting. However, the caveat being where it's typically, this is how you see it. It starts off with, oh, yeah, this is a utopia. But it actually isn't. It's actually a secret dystopia.
Yeah.
That's how
really
it's normally
done.
Yeah, but what story do you know of like a utopian trope where it actually is a utopia? The only one I can think of is
Utopia.
Doctor Strange.
No, there's a book titled Utopia. I read it it's like one of those political science stuff. Though.
Oh,
it's something I read in school. Yeah,
politics sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's the worst. But Utopia is like I don't know. It's just not fun. No one wants to see perfect. Oh, you know what?
I was thinking Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the one where the
Remember? Oh, that world. Yeah, I was gonna reference just to talk over you for a second here. The story, The Giver. Have you ever read The Giver? It was required
a long time ago.
Yeah, I had to read this for I think like 8th grade, long time ago, and another YA book where it's presented as a utopian world where everything's perfect, but it's really dystopian because everyone's memories are taken away and you have to take these drugs on purpose. Again, it always falls into dystopia, like you say.
Yeah, Brave New World.
Yeah, Utopia it's just not fun. Let's go. Honestly, let's go. What are we
Honestly,
thinking?
If it's actually utopia and not a utopian, a secret dystopia, if it's not that, then F.
The only thing I can think of, I don't even know if this clarifies as utopia, but Studio Ghibli films are all just fun and giddy in a sense of My Neighbor Totoro, for example. It's just the food's great, the smells and aroma, it's very low conflict, and you're more there for the
ambiance.
The
experience. All right, you convinced me. Middle of D somewhere.
Middle of D, let's go. Oh, definitely had a plot armor. Definitely ahead of... Yeah, let's go below Amnesia.
Fair enough.
All right. The last one, And if you refer to Wheel of Time, so help me God.
I'm sorry. It's
the farm boy trope. What do you think about the farm boy trope? This is going to be our biggest disagreement.
I'm still not sick of it. I'm still not over the trope.
Right.
I know eventually I'm going to read enough where I'll be tired of it. I'm not tired of it yet.
I've read less than you and I'm sick of it. How is that
Really?
possible? Yeah.
Ugh. That's what a shame.
It's farm boy specifically is what annoys me more. It's not because I guess you could say we've referred to Lord of the Rings like 50 times this episode.
It quite literally is farm boy to.
But the little nugget there is it's the Shire. So
what do they do other than farm?
they eat what they farm.
Yeah.
That's different, buddy.
It's the same thing.
No, farm
farms.
boys work and they don't eat. They're more grizzled. You know this. Come on.
No, it's not the case.
But I always think of the Shire as, when I think farm boy, for some reason, I think human farm. So the Shire separates it from me because it's a hobbit and it's more magical. Because the Shire is a magical place.
I think you're getting real pedantic about it. I think it counts. It's basically the same thing.
I think there's a difference.
Yeah, well, you think wrong.
Listen, when you think farm boy trope, I straight up go a farm.
Naive analog for the basically reader.
Yeah, basically the farm boy trope is when they're going on this big quest with a bunch of people and they have to get compelled to this. And there's some doom that they're presenting to, which doesn't happen in Lord of the Rings. It's not like he has to go through this journey and destroy a ring in this doom. It's not like he's going from some small town where he hasn't experienced the world, doesn't want to go on these adventures, and then goes out to these other lands and faces this danger. It's not like there's this little small guy that is in this simple land where everybody's nice and neighbors. They don't know much of the outside world, and it's really humble beginnings, and then has this whole coming of age thing where he comes back in the end. It's not like he does that. It's not like he comes back to the Shire. And you have this whole arc of him going out into the world and then back again, here and back again. Bilbo Baggins.
So you want to put that in top of S tier?
Yep, I guess. Farboy, though,
it doesn't go S tier.
No, it doesn't go S tier.
I'm thinking top of B.
I'm saying bottom B.
Bottom B.
Yeah, because my actual thoughts on this, I'm being generous. My actual thoughts is like C or D tier. Obviously, Lord of the Rings is a classic fantasy, and you can never hate on something that.
Well, the best thing about the farm boy whole trope is seeing it's the ultimate floor for them to rise from. It gives them the most growth to become whatever it is, and then it's so interesting to see how far they've come.
I agree, but I think you can do it something else other than a farm. It's more interesting when it's, for example, Kaladin. Mm-hmm. No spoilers. Again, I'm not going to get into Storm stuff, but at his very beginning, his start, it's not a farm. He starts as, this is literally chapter 1 or 2, a slave. Like, that's a bigger... Gladiator, one of my favorite movies. It's not like he starts at a farm. He starts as... There's other ways to come up from that.
Yeah, but it's not just coming up in power or station. It's more of...
the journey that you go through and what you learn.
The journey of ignorance and, like, how sheltered their life is and how hardened they have to become.
Yeah.
Typically. So,
all right, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking below pure evil villain.
Ahead of Quest?
Yeah.
Put it below Quest.
The reason why I say that is because a Quest is mainly plot. Farm Boy deals with a character journey, and you prefer character over plot. Good
argument. I'm putting it below Quest. It's the one power I have.
Yeah.
Listen, I haven't used my executive authority of having the mouse this whole episode. I saved it for the last one. And
fine.
One last thing. All right, everybody. This was a Tutor Ramble episode. Don't know how long this one was.
It may be the longest one ever, but hey, let us know what you think down below. And if you actually got to the end, I'd be surprised if you did, but we had fun talking about these.
We had fun talking to each other and whoever's left here. So,
All right.
it was great. Let's go to bed.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.